Good afternoon from where you are watching me from. It's me ZJ Timo on the farm drive today. Leo tuko na mapochopocho ya mambo. Najua mapochopocho ni kwa chakula, lakini tuko na mapochopocho ya mambo. Kuna traffic updates, kuna weather updates. Na pia katika kipindi cha lala salama tuko na pan of the day. Lazima tuanze wiki on a high notes. And remember, even as we begin, we are fighting a common enemy, the coronavirus. So, social distance, number one. Number two, make sure you have your mask on. And not only have your mask on, but wear it properly. And number three, sanitize and wash your hands frequently. Because we are not fighting against the government, or is the government fighting against us? We are fighting a common enemy. And the common enemy is coronavirus. Today, if you have noticed, Conrad Kibe is not with me. Conrad anafurahia sana sahii mali yako. Anafurahia sana. Unajua watu wa Kiburi FC. Yani watu wa Manchester United walisababisha hii weekendi. Kwa hivyo Conrad hii wiki amekuwa unstoppable. Anafurahia sana, anajienjoy mali yako. Lakini pia mumuombea kuje kesho asubuhi. Akuwe humble kidogo kesho atoke. Anyway, I hope you've had a blessed weekend. You've enjoyed your weekend, and cheers to a new week. Pia sisi tunaomba tutasababisha hii wiki na tutatokea hapa kila siku Mola akisema, au vipi? So today I just want to engage your mind on current affairs especially. And today we're talking about inflation rates. Inflation rates. I need you to, what do you really understand when you think about inflation rates? Ama, what do you really understand when you think about inflation rates? At this point in time of the world, amidst all this COVID-19 pandemic, there have been so much economic forces at play currently that the world at large has been affected, and no country can say that they have not felt the effect of coronavirus pandemic. And that's why worldwide, even the FAO just recently recorded that the food price index in April have climbed since May 2014. You can imagine. So if you think about it, the last time there were such high prices was around 7 years ago, which is quite a lot a gap. And if you are tuning into to today's morning show with Nara and Ashley, hope you are engaged, because they talked about the effect of rise in prices of the food, and what is really the impact of that, kwa sababu common mwananchi, the common mwananchi, mtu wa nduthi pale, mtu mwenye anapiga kazi pale kibandaski, mtu mwenye anapiga kazi kwa ofisi pia ni common mwananchi. Prices zikirise anaumia sana. And today we want to just share the knowledge. You understand where we are at the moment in time. In the morning, Ashley and Nara talked about and discussed the effect of this rise in prices. When these prices rise, what is the effect to the economy at large, and what economic forces cause and bring about this effect? And today I'm going to talk about now I'm going to generally talk about the inflation rates and why they are rising, and you see, give you a view for you to understand really. Sahii mbona unaenda kwa market na nyanya moja ni 10 bob, na a few months ago ulikuwa unaweza pata nyanya 4 almost na 10 bob, because ilikuwa zimeflood market, and such in occurrences. Ama venye tuta describe leo kwa nini time fulani ndimu ilikuwa so expensive, ulikuwa unapata a kilo at almost 200 shillings, lakini sahii imerudi pale katikati. Yet, ama pia the effect of the rise of fuel prices to food prices, that relation kama hivyo really keen during this period of the COVID-19 recorded the lowest prices, I think, since 2000, and I think the past 10 years. Petrol ilifika mahali ilikuwa at 89, 88 shillings a liter, na sahii imefika at almost 123, 124 shillings a liter. So how do we explain that, and what is the effect of that to the economy in Kenya, and also the economy of the world at large? And so right now it's 3 minutes past 5 minutes past 3, and we begin. So one thing you need to understand is that the World Food Price Index has really climbed in April. Actually, since you remember when people were having a panic attack that COVID-19 is going to end the world. I actually remember when once I entered a supermarket and I went into the sanitizer section and there was none, literally no sanitizer. Unaenda pale unaingia supermarket iko empty, watu wameshop walikuwa na ile mshituko kwamba dunia inaisha ama kitu kama hiyo. And because that was the first time we experienced such, I think the last time we experienced was almost 100 years ago in the 1910s, 1915s, when the common flu took place, and it killed almost 100 million. Such time, if you look at there's a writer who has written about this, and he explains and he's dived deeply on what was the cause of this virus that took place around 100 years ago, a century ago. It was written, I think, by John Barry, when he explains and talks about the effect of that, why people died, the economy at large, what was the influence of that, how the virus came about, and whether we could expect such an occurrence. And then it comes and occurs especially in Kenya here in 2019 was when we first recorded, March 2019 was when we first recorded the first case of coronavirus. And what has now been the effect of that? Has it brought a recession about? Has this recession brought about the drop or increase of food prices? How has the market been going around that? So when you think about it, this is what we're talking about. So when actually, I remember last year, around May, when everything was silent, and actually so many businesses were affected, number one, and so many things were not available, especially kwa market kulikuwa na mboga nini and the prices were low at first, but then the food price index began to increase slowly by slowly. Now, as people were adjusting to COVID-19, adjusting their lives to living, when people had lost their jobs, now unapata bado food prices zinaanza kupanda sasa, zinaanza kupanda. Ilifika mali zika shoot down kwanza, zikashuka chini, alafu zikaanza kupanda. So unapata the food index specifically, for instance, for Kenya, when we were ending the month, the inflation rate was around 5.33% in December 2020. The inflation rate of food prices. Food prices include food, unga ya kawaida, mboga, sukuma, nini, kila kitu nafikiria ni chakula. Food prices had risen by the end of 2020, an inflation rate of 5.33%. You can imagine the effect of that. But now nataka kuchanua sasa nikueleze kwamba si Kenya pekee ilikuwa inapitia hiyo. Actually, the world has faced this COVID-19 has had an impact in the economy of the world at large, and this is it. So the world food prices increased for an 11th consecutive month in April. So for the past 1 year, prices tu zimekuwa zikipanda polepole, zimekuwa zikipanda. Ndio maana pia unapata inflation rate ya per month imekuwa ikipanda, na ilifika peak at December 5.33, alafu January 5.62%. So tumeanza actually 2021 na high inflation rate. Unajua vile January inakuwa imekauka bana, if you think about it, right now in March, the price index was given at around, for foods generally in the world economy right now, was given at 118.5. Now, this food index really measures the monthly changes, especially for cereals, oilseeds, dairy products. Dairy products ni maziwa, margarine, butter, nyama na sukari, which are averaged at 120.9 points in April and 118.9 points in March. March had imagine when the beginning of March started, the price index was at 118.5. While it was ending, it was 118.9. In April, it was 120.9 points, showing that nakuambia prices za chakula zimepanda. That is in 2021. We've not talked about December 2020. We've not talked about November 2020. We've not talked about October, September, August, July, June, going backwards. And you can imagine amidst all this, as the food prices are pandering, they are climbing, people have lost their jobs, people have businesses are doing bad. When you, I remember the owner of, I think there's this someone who once shared a website for supplying for supplying foods and vegetables at your doorstep. You just go to the website, una type, una order, mali unasema akiweka hapo mjamaa alikuwa ameomoka bana, because the food prices were really high in the market. Na anakuwekea transport cost, alafu ukiangalia ka profit. I'll not mention the website definitely, but this guy alikuwa yeye alisema aliomoka kweli kweli, because at that point in time the food prices are high, watu wame lose jobs, na bado unajua Mkenya lazima akule, hasla lazima akule. Thinking about it, in Rome, FAO reported and said that the maize and wheat output will increase, but that will not mean that the price index in Rome will change. It will still remain the same. Wow. For instance, the cereal price index from March to April, just looking March 2021, April 2021, rose by 1.2%. And if you look at it annually, it rose by 26% in a year. So from in the transition of 2020-21, the cereal price index rose by 26%. That is just cereal. Najua sisi wa Kenya si watu wa cereals. Si ni watu wa cereals pia, lakini najua ukisikia cereals unafikiria zile zinakuwa pale kwa supermarket. Lakini hapana bana, cereals ni hii tu tunakula hapa, rice, millet, hiyo mbogi yote. Now for Brazil and United States, the maize prices pushed up to 5.7%. This is just March 2021 and April 2021, while wheat prices held largely steady. By contrast, international prices for rice really slipped. Ukiangalia mchele prices zake zilikuwa zimeshuka kwa dunia and around, but prices za wheat, maize supply zilikuwa zimeincrease. Ukiangalia maize Kenya, kama sisi wa Kenya tuna consume maize kama one of the staple, actually is the staple food in Kenya. Maize is staple food in Kenya. Kwa hivyo maize ikipanda inamaanisha bei ya unga inapanda, na mwananchi wa kawaida anaumia. Mtu mwenye anakulanga kaukali na kasukuma kila siku unaumia, you get. So this has had an effect on the rise of unga. So I think unga is at 120 shillings, if I'm not wrong, 120 shillings. I remember kuna because they're different, definitely kuna all different types of unga, but I remember kuna time ilikuwa imefika 90 shillings, at 90.85, 2 kg, that's a 2 kg packet. Sai 2 kg packet ni 130 shillings, if I'm not wrong, ama 120, cheze hapo 110, 120. So ukiangalia kutoka last year 90 shillings na 120, your unga imerise by almost 30, actually by 30 shillings imerise. So see, this has an effect kwa economy at large. Sikuma nakumbuka, for instance now, the vegetable oil price index rose by 1.8% on the month. Why? Because of the rise of the vegetables themselves. So actually, if kama mamboga zinapanda bei, then zitafanya vegetable oils zitapanda bei, kwa sababu vegetable oils raw material ni vegetables. So you get that is really the, let me call it the spiral effects of the economy, or of certain specific products. It is the main products for economy, spiral effect. Unapata kama for instance maziwa ikipanda bei, butter itapanda bei, margarine itapanda bei, cream itapanda bei. Kuna specific supermarkets wanachukua cream ya nini, wanagather vizuri, wanakuzia. All by products of milk, maziwa ikipanda, then all byproducts of milk zinapanda. So it's the same case scenario when vegetable prices go high, then you are sure that the vegetable oil prices will go high. This is what I was discussing now. Dairy prices rose by 1.2%, with butter, skim milk, powder, and cheese all lifted by good demand from Asia, while the meat index climbed by 1.7%. Now we're talking about monthly. This is monthly. Kutoka March 2021 hadi April 2021, index ya nyama imepanda. Ndio unapata kama for instance, at the beginning of this year, I remember a kilo of meat was around 440 shillings. That is beef. And a kilo of goat meat was around 500 shillings while this year was beginning. Actually, while the year was ending. Around same hapo November, December, January, prices ilikuwa zinachezea hapo. Sahi a kilo of meat, if you go some places it's 480 shillings, and another a kilo of that beef 480 shillings, and a kilo of goat meat is 600 shillings. Some areas it's 500 for beef and 620 almost for goat meat. So you can see the effect of that. Sasa ukiangalia transition ya kama I think March last year ilikuwa at around for 60 for 50. Sahi April iko for 80. So the meat index has climbed by 1.7%. I'm speaking about Kenya, but this is a food study done by FAO generally. And actually si Kenya pekee nyama ilipanda. Nyama imekuwa ikipanda dunia mzima. Unache hivyo kama uko na kambuzi pale, kama unalisha kuku pale ya substitute diet, kama unalisha what do we call this, turkeys, sungura, hii ndio masapa ya substitute diet kwa sababu nyama imepanda. Ama kama uko na kuku na hii ndio masapa ya kukula mayai, unafurahia mayai kabisa. So one thing you need to understand is also there has been a sharp drop from March to April. There's been a sharp drop of sugar prices. Now we know that sugar is also one of the si tuna consuming sukari sana. I think kwa sababu sisi ni watamu anyway. Ama ni watu wa watamu wanakula sukari. Anyway, we consume a lot of sugar, and you can tell that I think say 2 kilos of a kilo of sugar is around 60 shillings, 2 kilos at around 120 shillings. So you gonna, I think imeshuka kidogo. Oh, sorry. A half a kilo at 60, 1 kilo at 120 shillings, and 2 kilos at 100 at around 2, inachezea hapo 240 hapo 230 there. But imagine that is a drop. So they were really high. There's been a sharp drop in the period of March and April. There's been a sharp drop in sugar. But then ukiangalia annually there's been a 3.9 increase. Actually, there's been a 3.9 increase in this year, but annually in 60%. Now tumeongelelea maize at 26%. That is cereals and maize at 26%. Sukari 60%. You can imagine the price index, 60% rise. Ni kungorio design. Now, if you think about it, April to May sahi sukari zimepanda tena. Now, because watu wananunua sukari. Sisi ni watu watamu wa Kenya, tumenunua sukari. Unaona? Na sisi si watu wa kunywa dufia ama na by the dufia ni poa. Ukisikia kamfuko kanauma wewe kunywa dufia tu na ufurahie na uendelee. But sahi kama sahi sukari imepanda tena. Unaona? So inflation rates inacheza hapo. Na hiyo ni ngori sana. But I need you to understand also, it's not Kenya, it's worldwide. This is a worldwide study that has been done by FAO, and sugar has increased in price. And transiting from 2020 to 21, just these 2 years, the past 11 months, the rise has been almost at 60%. So if you can think about it, before the corona actually entered Kenya, the food prices for sugar specifically rise by 60%. So you can imagine the effect of that. Now, if you think about now, the UN agency also provided its first outlook for wheat in the 2021-2022 season, forecasting a production at 78.8 million tons. You can imagine wheat it increase. So like earlier, production of maize and wheat it shoot up. You get. But also there's also be the global cereal production in 2020 from 1.7 million will increase to 2.76. 2.767 billion tons. You can think about it. That is a 2.1% rate up. Now, the FAO also said that the early prospects for global coarse grains production in 2021 pointed to a likely third consecutive year of growth, mostly related to maize. The more is production and increase with production and increase. Now, the main aim of this study was done by FAO, to determine where the position of the world is right now, because we all know and we are all aware that this corona pandemic has messed a lot of things, or has emulated issues more. If you can think about it, if you think about the effect or economic effect of corona to all inaitwaje, to if you think about the economic effect to every industry in Kenya, agriculture industry, which is the backbone of the economy, has been hit so hard. You get. And say if you think about it, now I just want to give you a scenario of Kenya. Scenario of Kenya, ukienda kwa market nyanya imepanda, ukienda kwa market mboga imepanda. Mimi nilikuwa nunua last year cabbage at moja, zile small heads at 20 shillings, sasa ni 30 shillings. Now if you think about it, 20 shillings nikinunua cabbage kila siku, in 10 days as 200. Now if say nanunua cabbage kila siku, in 10 days as 300, that's a difference of 100 shillings. And I'm a daily consumer of cabbage. Mimi ni mtu wa cabbage, napenda cabbage sana. Nikisema story ya cabbage na kumbuka story ya Noah, nasema sasa Noah angekuwa na gold sasa kama angekuwa 75,000 cabbages. But anyway, my point is generally looking at the position of the economy and the prices of food at large, they have risen. Now, they have risen because of different economic forces kwa system na kwa society. Sai tunaangalia mafuta ikipanda, pia season ni transport costs. So mtu mwenye alikuwa na transport sukuma at 100 shillings tuseme per bale, sai na mafuta imepanda hapa hivi, una get ata charge higher. Kwa hivyo mjamaa ndio tengeneze profit yake, lazima akucharge cabbage moja 30 shillings. So unaona these different economic forces that have been affecting the economy have really brought quite an impact to us. But this is my encouragement to you, Sai. Should be the time to take the opportunity to eat healthier, and because we'll be thinking about eating. Everybody will be thinking in the direction of cutting cost. What am I eating? So mimi ni mtu mwenye ninapenda kukula nyama kila siku. Sasa hapa itabidi nimecheza chini juu kilo moja ya nyama inaelekea so 5. Beef specifically. So ndio ni cut out on that, I need to find a replacement on my diet for meat. If you understand me, if I'm cutting down on so if I used to eat daily meat, mimi nitakula nyama. So I reduce now once or twice a week. That is my advantage, because that daily consumption ya nyama yenyewe, majority of it haikui uptake kwa sababu hiyo ni cholesterol tu unajiongezea, unanona tu. Now I'll have to cut my cost to the point that ni nyama nakula once or twice, alafu maybe during the week na substitute na dengu, animal protein naweza kama mayai, unaona, nakula tu ugali kasukuma na kama mayai ama kama mchele na kandengu, unaona. So ile cost ya nyama nilikuwa na feel hiyo pinch reduce. Labda saa nyama nitakula tu weekend, nikule Saturday. Kama niko na craving ya nyama nitakula Saturday na nikule Sunday. Alafu during the week natafuta tu healthy foods, tuboga saga. Ndio reduce your economic effect, economic pinch. Kama mimi mtu mwenye nilikuwa napenda kukua na nyanya. Unajua nyanya inakonga poa ya stew. If you think about it, nyanya ni poa sana, unafanya ka stew ka colorful, ka beautiful, unaona. Na nilikuwa so nikitengeneza mfano stew ya chapo, nitaka nyama na nyanya, stew itoke concentrated, unakunywa unafurahia, alafu kafiri kidogo unakunywa unafurahia. But sasa inamaanisha because of the rise of prices of tomatoes, sasa inamaanisha at this point in time itakuwa na consume labda nyanya 2 ama na karanga chakula na kitunguu, unaona. So ndio ni reduce your effect ya your pinch. The point here is we are all now aware that it's not here in Kenya, but worldwide kwamba prices index of foods zimerise na inflation rates zimekuwa high. So if you think about it, you have to find a way or a solution to move in this economy at this point in time. So my encouragement to you is to adjust your diet. That I remember one time we were talking with Conrad here, tukaongelea kwamba kuna chakula ni muhimu kwa diet yako. Tukasema ukikula ugali na spinach ni balanced diet already. So unanipata, unakula ugali na spinach, balanced diet already. Get. Sasa unaongeza tu mayai kidogo, umeshakafunga. Usikule healthy juu ya mfuko, but also ukikama out of this period of the recession of COVID-19, which has had quite a high effect on the rise of food prices, then you make sure you've adjusted your diet, not only to fit your pocket, but also to fit your your health, unanipata. So be be keen not only to cut your cost ya mfuko, lakini pia mimi na encourage adjust diet yako. Nini? Another example is kama mimi nilikuwa mtu kukula so last time we talked about with Conrad, we talked about supplementing white meat for red meat. So unapata kama kuku ni expensive, ninaweza lisha kuku zangu tu hapa za kukulanga mpaka niko na kuku na kula once in a while ya kusupplement hiyo, because we all need to eat healthy and still survive amidst these tough economic times, tough COVID-19 times, to eat healthy. So mimi na encourage adjust diet yako, replace something expensive with something a bit cheap. Alipata labda nyama imepanda by 2 shillings, nyama imepanda by 100 shillings per kilo. So una weigh down, unaona options zako, kikula ugali mboga na mayai itakuwa cheaper kuliko nikule ugali mboga na nyama. Get me? So that is my encouragement to you. Anyway, we want to take a break, but don't go back. We will be back with the weather updates. Tukushanue kesho ujue venye utavaa, and peace out in the next few. Thank you.
Here at the Farmers, we help you in the identification of crop pest diseases and nutrition deficiencies in crops for your successful farming. So if you want, I want to give you more information about the crop pest diseases, you can follow me in the farm to get more information from me. Hello farmers, today is another fine morning. We want to take you through about traditional African vegetables which are indigenous, and as you can see, indigenous vegetables do want more management, or these things like spray fertilizers, like exotic breeds, which requires more management and skills. If you go to the village, you can get people improving their living standards using these indigenous vegetables. You can get a woman in the market selling these vegetables because the management is not that hard or is not that expensive. So they improve their living standards and earn income and their daily bread via this one, and they get better salaries and whatever they want from the farm. You can get that they are having a small piece of farm like this, and they utilize all the space, putting different varieties and different types of indigenous vegetables, which helps them. Even these vegetables have a medicinal impact to our lives. As you can see now, I'm at pigweed. You can start with the pigweed. Pigweed is an indigenous vegetable which most farmers or which most people use it because the management is just cheap. It doesn't require more management skills and that technical skills to manage it, but it do well, and the soil variety varies from A to Z, but this crop do well in different and various soil types. Here, as you can see, you have cotton soil, which the variety that we have is soft, and a soft pigweed, which do well, and we read something here, and we are happy to take you through this and help you on how you can earn. Many people think that these things are weeds, and I want to assure you that many people who uses these traditional vegetables, they are more healthy than those who uses meat, the exotic vegetables that use chemicals these indigenous crops are good for our health. So I will urge all of you to enroll into this business, to utilize their farms that are useless, to ensure that they are getting something from their farms. So as you can see here, harvesting, we have seeds. This pigweed has seeds, and you can harvest till you see the seeds come out, and you can pick the seeds dry and ensure that they are not dispersing. You put in an enclosed container to ensure that they are not dispersing from the point you are just gathering them, to ensure that you are just getting a good population in your farm. Sowing the seeds, you can just broadcast your seeds. After making a bed, you can broadcast your seeds into the soil and ensure that there is irrigation water to ensure that there is germination. But it doesn't require more moisture or more water, and it doesn't require waterlogging areas. It doesn't require much water to use it because it is tolerant to drought and on the sun. So I will urge you to do this pigweed farming. It doesn't require a big farm. Many people who produces this pigweeds, they do on a small scale farm, but they earn more because it is a long-term crop, which it takes long before its life goes off.
Welcome back to the Farm Drive with me, ZJ Timo. And thank you for tuning in. Today we are talking about inflation rates. But before we go on to Nangalia story with the updates. Sasa, watu wa Nairobi kesho it will be temperatures as low as 16 degrees Celsius. Itakuwa bit cloudy. Mombasa itakuwa temperatures as high as 26 degrees Celsius. It will be sunny. Nakuru temperatures as low as 14 degrees Celsius. Itakuwa cloudy. Eldoret temperatures as low as 14 degrees Celsius. Itakuwa cloudy. Kisumu temperatures as low as 18 degrees Celsius. It will be raining. Thika temperatures as low as 17 degrees Celsius. Itakuwa cloudy. Malindi temperatures as high as 26 degrees Celsius. Itakuwa sunny, cloudy kidogo. Kitale temperatures as low as 15 degrees Celsius itakuwa mvua kwa wingi. Kakamega, temperatures as low as 16 degrees Celsius itakuwa cloudy. Bungoma, temperatures as low as 16 degrees Celsius itakuwa mvua. Watu wa Nyeri, kama umetoka Nyeri, temperatures as low as 15 degrees Celsius itakuwa cloudy. Kama wewe ni mtu wa Meru, temperatures as low as 17 degrees Celsius itakuwa ina rain, lakini si heavily sana, itakuwa ina rain. Watu wa Makueni, temperatures as low as 19 degrees Celsius, it will be cloudy. Watu wa Lodwar, temperatures zinapiga juu mpaka 30 degrees Celsius, jua imewaka kabisa. Watu wa Kitui, exact opposite, temperatures will be as low as 19 degrees Celsius, it will be a bit cloudy. Watu wa Magadi, temperatures as low as 20 degrees Celsius, it will be raining, lakini si heavily, tunaita manyunyu. Watu wa Athi River hapa itakuwa cloudy with temperatures as low as 17 degrees Celsius. Watu wa Masako itakuwa sunny, lakini kamvua ya manyunyu kidogo with temperatures as low as 17 degrees Celsius. Watu wa Nyahururu itakuwa raining heavily with temperatures as low as 14 degrees Celsius. Yes, watu wa Kiambu itakuwa temperatures as low as 16 degrees Celsius, na ni a bit cloudy, na pia I think a bit misty. And that is your weather updates in the Farm Drive with me, ZJ Timo. Na sasa tulikuwa tunaongelelea story ya inflation rates. Tulikuwa tunaongelelea sahi like how the world is coping with the rising of the food prices index, and the way forward and going forward, how will it be behaving. Right now we are going to specifically talk about Kenya and what we've really faced here in Kenya. Tutakuonyesha vitu kwa ground venye ziko, diving deep. And at around 37 minutes past 3 o'clock, we begin. Now, one thing you need to understand is that the inflation rate for the month of December edged upwards to an 8-month high of 5.62% from 5.33% the previous month, November. Now, ever since we recorded the first case of COVID-19, inflation imekuwa ikipanda tu. Now, last year, last year, if you were very keen, your inflation rate ilikuwa inapanda tu highest peak 5.62% in December. Now, one thing to understand is with the rise of the inflation rate, the most things that are affected is the main food prices. Now, a rise in the prices of essential food items. Essential food items tunaongelelea unga, maziwa, skuma, kanyama kidogo, and such. Now, there was a rise in the prices of essential food items, transport, electricity, water, gas, and other fuels such as kerosene, paraffin. Now, this contributed to a surge in the December cost of living index. Now, I remember in the previous month, so they usually do a revision of the fuel prices every 15th, every mid-month. And last month, walikuwa waongeze. But I think when the government intervened, the prices kabaki stable at the same place. So that means that the food prices which have fuel prices which have quite a large effect on food prices, zimebaki pia, food prices zimebaki hapo. Unapata tule tunyenye tudogo ikunaziwa ine 10 bob, so unauziwa ine 25. So you get, so it's what we call what you were talking about and saying that it's known as the bars effect. Yeah, one essential price of an item rising affecting the other essential price of an item. Now, the National Statistical Office latest figures show that food inflation had the most significant price increases between November and December at 2.45%. Na sahi pia zime increase kabisa. Now, if you're really keen, tukienda kukafunga Christmas 2020, watu wako na Christmas. Watu wachache walikula Christmas ile ya kawaida, ile ya mapochopocho. Unanipata? Lakini watu walikula tu Christmas kawaida, ugali, mboga, saga pale, ama watu wanaitanga bitter herbs. Na tumayai pale. Hiyo ndio December, even though December ilikuwa na January ikakuwa tu kama kawaida. Why? Because food index prices had increased by at least 2.45%. Now that means that kuna machakula zilikuwa zinachezea tuseme 100 shillings, unapata ziko around 105 107 shillings. So unaona hiyo ni do mob if you think about it in the long run. Now, with the December inflation figures on the rise, there are signs that now that presently 2021, we're reviewing at December when the prices rose. This was a sign that now January prices zingekuwa high, same na February, same na March, na Kenyan household and businesses wataumia. Now, if you've thought about it, tumeongelelea previously tukasema world index ya prices ya foods by mid-March ilikuwa 118.5. Now while we were concluding March, it was 118.9. So you can imagine how fast the food index was rising and how fast food prices were rising. Right now we are in May, and just the previous month, April, we recorded a high of 120.1. That's what we were talking about. So prices are rising quite fast. And kama unaona kamfuko ni ngori, inabidi inamaanisha sasa you adjust diet, na sisi wa Kenya tunaumia. Now, if you think about it, taxation has also brought about an increase in taxation pia. Taxes kurudi normal, watu walikuwa taxiwa. Unakumbuka time COVID-19 taxes zilikuwa withdrawiwa for a period of time, sasa kurudi normal na watu kuingia line pia ime affect mambo mengi sana. So unapata VAT pia ime rise, so unapata effect hii ni kubwa sana kwa chakula. Now think about it, the cost of transport, which has comprised of 9.65% in weight of the household basket. Now, just talking about that, the cost of transport comprises 9.65% in weight of the household basket. Yani transport inamaanisha 10% ya kila kitu unaweza think about household items ina involve transport. Think about it, food, so ni transport. Ama kutoa, kama mimi ni mtu mwenye natoa mathukuma Kinangop na waletea hapa Kitengela, hiyo si ni transport, na hiyo transport ina affect household items. Sukuma, think about it. Mtu mwenye ana supply maziwa anatoa Limuru, kama mimi najua, for instance, there are people here around where we are that they get the supply of milk from Limuru. Now you see the prices of milk will remain constant, but the fact that the fuel prices are high will bring mimi sasa nikikuleta to your doorstep, then I have to bring them with a higher price, if you think about it. Now that's what I'm talking about, the cost of transport, which comprises 9.6% in the weight of the household market. So transport inachangia sana. So mafuta ikipanda tu hivi juu, then inamaanisha mambo mengine yanachunwa, mambo mengine yanaumia, na because transport is ina consider almost 9.65% in weight of the household basket. If you think about it, stories are rent, electricity, water, cooking gas, and other fuels zilikuwa zina add up to 0.95% increase. Imagine that was when the year was concluding. Mwaka conclude at December, 0.59% increase. Now, ukiangalia the past, let's say an year and something, a year and a few months, hiyo 1% increase, 1% increase, 1% increase ndio inafanya transition ya 2020 to 2021 annual increase ya sugar ni 60%. 60% inamaanisha kama sugar ilikuwa 60 shillings a kg, then unaongezea sasa imefika 100 shillings a kg, if you think about it. So inamaanisha sugar imepanda sana, yani sukari imepanda sana. Sasa inajua imeshuka kiplani, but kuna times sukari imepanda sana mazi hata huwezi kwa mtu mtamu bana. Wewe ukikuwa mtu mtamu, wewe ni hot cake sana. Unaamua tu amkia asubuhi kumedufia because of sukari. Now if you think about it now, actually this small increase in percentage of the price index of food stuff annually at March last year to April 1%, April to May 1%. Kama for instance mafuta ili record the lowest prices, I think in the last 10 years haijafika hapo 89 shillings for petrol. Sasa angalia hiyo tunaita annual monthly index increase hivyo na 1%, 2%, 1%, 2%, 1%, 2%. Sasa mafuta imefika 100 and almost 125 shillings 1 liter per liter of petrol. Sasa inamaanisha ulikuwa hiyo 1 liter at 80, so at 100 shillings ukiweka mafuta ya ulikuwa unapata 1 point something liters. So ukiweka mafuta ya unapata 0.7 something liters, yani imereduce into half. So if you look at in the long run, this small price percentage increase in the price index of foods, hiyo 1%, 1%, 1% in the long run inakuja kufanya sasa tufike situation kama yenye tuko sahi, if you think about it. Now, food items that have the highest prices include spinach. 1 kg's price has risen by 8.09%. You can think about it. Followed by 1 kg oranges, 6.81%, sukuma wiki at 5.61%, and 2 kg packet of wheat flour, 4.75%. Now, this was just the beginning of this year, December, January, February. The easy food indexes was recorded. Size may increase. I think ilikuwa nawaambia kama at the beginning of this year nilikuwa naunua cabbage 20 bob per head, ile ndogo. Achana ile kubwa. Ile kubwa sasa unaweza pata 50 60 shillings. Hiyo ndogo nilikuwa naunua 20, sasa ni 30. So that's the effect I'm talking about. Hiyo 1% increase increase March 1% increase in food items. April 1%, May 2020, June 2020, July 2020, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, sasa tuko May. Hiyo pinch sasa ina add up inakuwa hiyo economic effect inakuwa felt kabisa. That's why people are complaining prices, not only Kenyans but all over the world. Now, if you think about it, while we were ending the year, we ended the year with an increase also of price of cabbage, carrots, onions, and potatoes. Actually, cabbage imekuwa ikipanda, waru zimepanda. I remember last year I bought ile ndo kubwa ya waru wanauzanga at around it is around I think walikuwa nauza around 400. Imagine. Sai our check na 600 shillings. Kama utaki tembea. So that has an effect if you think about it. Inamaanisha consumption ya waru hiyo ndo sasa inanunua 600 na si 400. Hata sasa hii bei ya kuongea ni kama utaki achana nayo. Huyu mjamaa amechapa hesabu akaona iliende hasara kuliko kuuza hiyo ndo kubwa at 600 shillings. If you can imagine. Think about it. So bei ya vitu zinapanda and that's where we are right now. So that's why I was advising you and telling you that if you can reach a point where you need to adjust your diet to make it a bit economic but also to remain healthy, and that can be really. So unapata kama ndo hiyo kubwa ya waru, I think inaonga 10 kgs ni 600 shillings. Ukiona sasa ni 600 shillings, sasa ni 600 shillings. I think imeshuka kwa around 550, which is 5600 shillings. Ukiona imefika hapo. Sasa inamaanisha wewe unanunua tu waru wako 3 ama 4 tukufanya stick with beautiful, unafanya hivyo 2 ama 3 times a week. Kama wewe kama sasa mimi ni kama mtu kama Conrad, mtu wa Nyeri, mtu lazima stick na unajua stick na kwanga maji kwao, wanaweka minji waru nyanya kitu alafu mtungi moja ya maji. Sasa uteka mtungi moja ya maji uteka waru ni essentially. So unaona unakuwa affected pia wewe. So ndio maana nasema like that's where we are at a nation, and that's what we're discussing about. If you can find a point and substitute your diet to be economic and still healthy, that can be really impactful to you. Now, if you think about it, the KNBS data shows that the December 2020 consumer price index increased by 0.9% from 110.779 November 2020 to 111.866 in December 2020. Now here in May, we are touching, I think 122.1.2 up. Imagine. Now from December to May, there has been an increase of in price index for around any increase by almost, if I'm not wrong, 4-5%. You can imagine. Na hii ikinasema ukiangalia November from 110.779 to December 111, increased by 0.98%. Your small increases inakuja na lead sahii price index ya foodstuffs generally in Kenya iko 122 in May, and KNBS is about to do the review tena, watapeana. Ukiangalia utaona sahii foodstuffs zimefika around 122 months. So unaona venye bei ya vitu vinapanda kwenye market. Now the housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels index increased by 0.59% to by 0.59% from November December 2020. This is mainly attributed to increase of 0.76% and 2.08% in the cost of electricity and kerosene respectively. Now, when we began the year with unajua fuel prices was inarevaisiwa every mid-month, every 15th. Na watu wanangojanga watu wengi huwa wanangoja fuel prices revaisiwe ndio wajue itakuwaje. Because na determine mambo mengi sana. Food transport, fares. Now hiking of fares pia inamaanisha mtu kutoka Kisumu kuleta samaki hadi hapa hivi definitely samaki ilikuwa moja at 500 sasa samaki itakuwa 800 bana. Kwanza hawezi cheka na wewe kama utaki tembea. Now from 500 to 800 700. Imagine that's an increase of 200 shillings per fish. So if you're buying for a person who's doing business and they're supplying and they are buying fish for consumption in the hotel for instance, mjamaa alikuwa ananunua 500 na 700 a fish. Akinunua 100 pieces of fish, one whole fish, atakuwa ameinka a higher cost of 20,000 shillings generally. Hiyo ndio loss at experience kwa sababu ya effect ya mafuta ya transport tu peke yake kutoka Kisumu kuletewa fish mpaka Nairobi. Hiyo price ya fish unauziwa pale 300 unauziwa pale ukipikia unauziwa 600 700. Sasa itamaanisha itapanda kwa hoteli kwa sababu in turn price ya fuel imefanya price ya transport ya fish ikapanda, ikafanya mtu mwenye ananunua fish at 700 per piece atakuja atakuwa anauza sasa atakuzia 900 ndio atengeneze profit yake. Unaona? Ukiangalia hiyo inaitwa buzz ama spiral effect ya essential items, ndio maana tunakuwa affected sana. Now, the transport index has increased by 1.15% over the same period, mainly due to an upward rise in the retail prices of diesel and petrol by 1.20%, 0.92 respectively. Hiyo tunaongelea tu March, April. Hatujafika May bado because May they are about to, I think today, yes, if I'm not wrong, itafanywa this week on Friday, if I'm not wrong. Na tutarudi hapa Friday tuone price index za mafuta imefika wapi sasa. Prices za mafuta zimefika wapi sasa because tumeona tume discuss hapa sasa tukaona kwamba hiyo increase ya 1% tu per month hiyo ndio inakuja the long run kuto affect. Tunapata price index ya food ilikuwa 111 concluding in December sasa iko 122. So you see that's where we are at a nation as a nation in Kenya right now. Now, when we look at things, there's so many things that have also affected the rise of prices of food and other essential items that are like turnover tax. Like for instance, companies are required to pay the new turnover installment tax, the rate of 1.0% of turnover installment tax, whichever is higher. Now, this tax will affect loss making, including the more than 14 listed firms that have issued profit warnings and such and such. Kitu muhimu hapa ni kama for instance I know farms that distribute food. I am aware of farms that distribute food and I know there are few in industrial area. These farms kama ina kudistribute food at this price inamaanisha itapandisha price yake kwa sababu tax wanataxiwa tena. So this is the spiral effect I'm talking about. Naongelelea at this point and time. One thing we need to be keen about is adjusting to these hard economic times. Now these hard economic times really zina affect kila mmoja wetu. But we need to be in a position whereby because I think the last time we experienced such a tough time was as we have looked in mid 2014. That was the last time we experienced such a tough time. Mali mafuta ilikuwa imepanda, mali prices ilikuwa zimepanda. Nakumbuka pia I remember the government intervened to a point that prices za unga zilikuwa zimeshuka. Actually it was 2015-2016 we experienced period. 2014-2015-2016 period. I remember in 2017 there was a time unga ilikuwa shoot up sana, ilikuwa imeaffect mambo mingi sana and the government had to intervene. That was just an issue about maize supply and that shortage of maize and all. But the government had to intervene kwamba mpaka unga ilishuka at 90 shillings to kg packets. Ilikuwa nafika ukiingia asubuhi because it was subsidized by the Kenyan government. Ukiingia asubuhi kwa supermarket unanunua unga. Ukifika saa 6 hakuna unga kwa supermarket. Hiyo packet zimeisha. Zile subsidized za 90 shillings. Shup, zimeisha. Zimebaki hizi packets za kawaida ziko chezea 130, 135, 140. But this was due to a maize shortage that was experienced in Kenya. But if you can see that this tells you that many people consume, that's why we consume ugali, that's why maize is the staple food in Kenya. So a rise in prices causes that buzz effect. That's why the maize shortage caused that buzz effect of unga kupanda. Now, actually, let me tell you sometimes I've noted that companies take advantage of that. Now, wana hike prices, now wachekeshi. So the common mwananchi ndio wana end up kuumia in this position in time. But tough times do not last. That's one thing I believe in. Tough times don't last. Na kutakuwa na better times, but also lazima to learn to live in these times such as now. That's why I'm pointing out the fact that you need to adjust. And I'll repeat this over and over again, that you need to adjust your diet to fit you economically, but also be healthy at this point in time. Now, since last year, in the conclusion of December, the inflation rates climbed. Imekuwa ikirise. Inflation rates imekuwa ikirise. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Imekuwa tu constant rise. So if they're going to revise the fuel prices this week, we don't know. We don't know what to expect. We don't know. But we'll see. We'll see and wait and see. Now, let me give you an example. With just the supply of maize, this is just an example of supply of maize. You see where we were at now. In 2nd October 2020, the wholesale price for a 90 kg bag was at 2,800 shillings. At Kitale, it was at 2,300, Kapenguria 2,700, Moi's Bridge was at 2,400 shillings. Turbo was at 3,600 shillings. In the Lake and Western region, it was in Butere, it was 3,000. That's a wholesale price for a 90 kg bag. Chavakali 2,300, Lugari 3,400, Kapsokoni 2,400, Webuye 2,400, Bugoma 3,400, Kakamega 2,600, Malaba 2,400. That is as of 2nd October 2020. Pardon, yes, 2nd October 2020. Now, here at 5th March 2021, in Eldoret, the wholesale price remained ilishuka at 2,500, in Kitale at 2,300, which remained constant, in Kapenguria at 2,400, which ilishuka ilikuwa 2,700. That was in October. In Turbo at 2,450, Turbo ilikuwa 3,600. So unaona pia tunaendelea vizuri tukishuka. In the Lake Western region, Butere 3,000 ilibaki constant. Chavakali 2,700. Hiyo ime increase, ilikuwa from 2,300 to 700. Lugari ilikuwa 3,400. Sahi Lugari it's as 3,000 Kenya shillings. So these are just but the areas. Hii ni 90 kg bag. Now if you see the retail price just recently, for 1 kg, Eldoret is 40 shillings, Kitale 40 shillings, Kapenguria 25, Moi's Bridge 35. Here in Kajiado County, I think 1 kg retail price is 90 shillings, if I'm not wrong. Now, in October, concluding the year, it was 40 shillings, Kitale 30 shillings, so Kapenguria 28, Moi's Bridge 35. Now, that tells you that the fluctuation in the prices of the economy, the prices of certain products, essential products in the economy, ziki fluctuate, then zina bring about a spiral effect kwa economy at large. Kama tunasema mafuta ikilivaisiwa na ipande, basi kutakuwa kungori sana. That is just what hiyo ni maize peke yake. We have not talked about for instance, let's look at tomatoes. 1 kg sahi 110 shillings. This is Kajiado. 1 kg at 110 shillings, 120 shillings. ukienda hapa chini Athi River tu karibu na sisi 90 shillings are 100 shillings. Haya, hebu tuone watu wa Coast, for instance, watu wa Coast 100 shillings nyanya bana, 100 to 120 shillings. Watu hawacheki na watu bana, nimeona bado unauziwa sasa. I think ile supply ya nyanya inakwanga 100 kilos kwa market. I think it's around 10,000 right now, 10,000 shillings. Kama utapata unauziwa nyanya moja 10 bob, it's because of that. Na hata nyanya zikai kwa market wenyewe zinatembea kutembea, watu bado wana consume nyanya, lakini wana consume na kauchungu fulani tu. I remember in 2019, concluding 2019 going 2020, prices were as low as 50 shillings, half of that. Imagine ukiuziwa na mtu mwenye anakuuzia kwa market 50 shillings per kg, yeye ananunua tuseme I think the 100 mini was at 4,000 at 100 kilos your box at 4,000 shillings. That was concluding 2019. To conclude, it was at 4,000 shillings. You can imagine, saying imehit 10,000 shillings. That is like 120% rise. The one tunauziwa nyanya moja at 10 shillings. Na hiyo size ya nyanya bado ni question, unanipata? So we can see that this has a buzzing effect. There is the spiral effect of essential food items, transport, and the economy that really causes things zifike mali zimefika sahi. But mimi nakukaa hapa na kuchanua, so it is you, wewe uadjust pocket yako if it's your food stuff ama food diet yako, if it's pocket yako iko economic, at the same time ikue live ama ukule healthy. Now don't go back anywhere, because we'll be right back after the break. It's me, ZJ Timo, and this is the Farm Drive.
Farmers is the home of Africa Farmers Club and by extension African Farmers. The whole idea behind Farmers is to transform the image of an African farmer from a producer into an agripreneur, somebody who actually does not think about how to produce onions, but how much is going to be used to produce onions, and so that way then they can be able to transform their vision, they can be able to look at their farms as businesses, and they can be able to know when to engage with the market. What we have done is that we have developed a hub where farmers bring their information, bring their questions, their challenges, and other farmers are there to come out and help. Facebook has not just been instrumental, Facebook has been a working partner for myself as well. And Facebook has actually transformed the way we relate, an open platform. My background is in tech, and I know you cannot build a platform that can reach out to so many people. Initially, it was just a few farmers in 2 counties, Machakos County and Kajiado counties, but now it has transformed. We have a stronger membership from Nigeria and Zambia than even Kenya itself, And the reason behind this is the messages I get from different farmers across Africa. Then something interesting came to my mind, and I thought about using the camera. Every time I visited farmers, I would be able to post in the community, in the group, in my own profile, and just share the story of the farmer that I visited. And then I asked myself, why wouldn't I get this information, develop it in a way that other people can be able to benefit? If we go for a training, how do we capture that so that those who are not, the farmers who are not able to come for that training can still benefit? And hence the birth of a Farmers Media. Our mission as an organization is to help farmers, African farmers, to attain knowledge and grow profits.
Melon is a trailing vine in the gourd family. The word melon can refer to either the plant or specifically to the fruit. Watermelon is a type of melon that is sweet and refreshing fruit. Watermelons can either be grown on home gardens for small-scale farmers or large-scale depending on the market demand. You can either transplant or plant watermelon seeds directly. For best performance, plant watermelons in hot, sunny locations with loose, fertile, well-drained soil that is rich in organic matter. It is best to plant watermelons on raised rows and ensure that the soil pH is between 6.0 to 6.8. On average, it takes around 3 months for a watermelon to grow from seed to mature fruit, with smaller varieties having shorter growing times than larger varieties of watermelon. Watermelon growing, if done rationally and on a scalable basis, can be a good source of income. Drip irrigation is a type of micro-irrigation system, or sometimes called trickle irrigation, that has potential to save water and nutrients by allowing water to drip slowly to the roots of plants, either from above the soil surface or buried below the surface from a system of small diameter plastic pipes fitted with outlets called emitters or drippers. The emitters slowly drip water into the soil at the root zone, therefore moisture levels are kept at optimum range, thus improving plant productivity. You can grow different crops using drip irrigation, be it tomatoes, spinach, skuma wiki, beetroots, celery, and many more crops will thrive using drip irrigation method. Drip irrigation is especially beneficial as it provides better plant health, less waste, reduced risk of diseases, money saving, weed control, and saves time. Drip irrigation is the most efficient water and nutrient delivery system for growing crops.
Welcome back to the Farm Drive with me, ZJ Timo, and Conrad Kibe, where we tell the story of the African farmer. If you're very keen, very keen with me that Conrad is not here with me today. Kama uko bado umeona Conrad hayuko hapa, ni kwa sababu Conrad anafurahia sana mahali yako. Kiburi FC represented this weekend, and Conrad decided, you know what, he's going to extend his celebrations to today. But we still thank God, you know. Kiburi FC walishinda. Anyway, we are waiting for the big match between Kiburi FC and Liverpool FC to see who will be on the hot seat of that day. Ama namna gani? Right now we're in the kipindi cha Lala Salama, and we want to do the traffic updates, the pan of the day, and conclude. I don't know whether my director has the pan of the day on the screen. Yes. So this is the pan of the day. Mtu ambaye anayelima ndimu tutamuita nini? Mtu ambaye analima ndimu ama walimao tutamuita nini? Tutamuita mkulima. Sasa ukulima wa ndimu hauhitaji nini? Hauhitaji kuuma ndimu. Ukulima wa ndimu ama limau hauhitaji kuuma ndimu, yani hauhitaji makasiriko. Yani hauhitaji patience. Hiyo ni for the very few. That is a very heavy joke, lakini ni wachache watarada. But generally farming yote haihitaji makasiriko. If you remember tulisema you have to be dedicated, you have to be intentional, lazima ujitolee, usikuwe mtu wa kutransplant katikati ya siku bana. Hiyo umeumia farming ndimu, especially farming ya ndimu unaiumia ndimu. Bana, hii farming haihitaji makasiriko ama namna gani? Anyway, now we're going to check the traffic updates. Nataka kuwashanua kidogo even as we conclude the show at 15 minutes past 4 o'clock. Watu wanasemanga niko kwa jam na kama ama una chocha mresh anakuza babe uko happy niko kwa jam na kama, kumbe mresh amechuni ni kwa show amesikiza traffic updates, anajua mali kuna traffic na mali hakuna. So boy chalka rada. Anyway, these are your traffic updates. Yes, looking into Langata Road iko fresh kabisa mpaka ufike pale T-Mall. Kuna kajam kana bill kidogo, ukiextend hivyo Mbagathi Way mpaka Kenyatta Hospital roundabout kuna traffic, na hiyo ni kuteremka. kupanda it's very clean. Watu wa Ngong Road kutoka roundabout ya neno Evangelism kuna ka traffic kidogo tu pale karibu na Kenya Railways Golf Course, but after that it's very clear mpaka ukaribie Kenyatta National Hospital roundabout. Then after Coptic Hospital kuna ka jam kidogo tu, but shoo, hiyo yote ni nywe kabisa. Mpaka ufike kukuja kukaribia Prestige kuna ka building jam kidogo tu, but after that, after Impala Club kokote kuko safi kabisa. Watu wangu wa Thika Road. Thika Road kuna traffic nyingi sana pale Globe roundabout, watu kuingia town, watu kutoka. Kuna hapo karibu na kwanza ukiingia hiyo barabara inatoka Westlands ukiingia Globe kuna traffic. The other road kutoka Thika Road kuingia town kuna traffic kidogo pia, but Thika Road considering unaenda Thika Road iko fresh kabisa, hakuna jam hata kidogo. Yes, ukikuja watu wa Mombasa Road kutoka Neno Evangelism roundabout mpaka NCBA roundabout kuna traffic. Then ukiteremka na hiyo barabara ya Bunyala Road kuna traffic pia. Watu wanaoingia town kupitia Nyayo kuna ka jam kana build kabla ya Nyayo roundabout na after Nyayo roundabout mpaka kwa roundabout ya NCBA. Kama wewe ni mtu umetoka Wera na unaenda nyumbani, barabara ya Mombasa Road iko swafi kabisa. Mpaka pale Bellevue kuna ka traffic kidogo tu, lakini ni moving traffic. After that iko swafi kabisa mpaka ukuje ufike Likoni, hiyo interchange ya Likoni Road Southern Bypass iko swafi. After that hakuna traffic mahali popote, iko safi kabisa. Kama ni mtu unaingia town wakati huu, there is no traffic at all in Mombasa Road mpaka ukuje tu hapo karibu na Nyayo kuna building traffic kuingia. Kama wewe ni mtu wa Southern Bypass unaenda Diaspora ronga hakuna traffic iko fresh kabisa. Haya, kama wewe ni mtu wa Lang'ata Airport View, mahali karibu na Nairobi Dam Estate, ndio kuja kufika Uhuru Gardens kuna ka traffic hiyo maeneo hiyo barabara hivyo. Ni watu wengi wanaingia town, hapo mmeshanuka kidogo. Lakini kumbuka wewe ni mtu wa Mombasa Road, uko freshi kabisa, wewe uko chonjo kabisa. Ni wapi pengine? Watu wa Mbagathi watu wa Kino, nyinyi mnanga jamba. Nyinyi amunanga jam. Sijui mbona Conrad anapenda kuwaingilia, lakini nyinyi amuna jam. Ukienda ukitoka CBD ukipitia barabara ya Chiromo kuna jam, building traffic kidogo, lakini inaonekana ni traffic inasonga. And I hope mko chonjo kabisa. That has been your traffic updates in the Farm Drive with me, ZJ Timo. At 20 minutes past 4 o'clock, we are talking about the inflation rates in the world and in Kenya at large. And we have discussed quite a lot. Mine today was to just inform you and make you, yani nikushanure. Inaitwaje? Kuchanua msee. Mimi nilikuwa na kuchanua hiyo situation at hand sasa hivi. Ndio kwamba si economy ya Kenya pekee yake ndio ina face hard ama inflation. Ina face hard times na ina face inflation na price index za foodstuffs, za essential items zinapanda. Si Kenya pekee yake, it's the world at large. And you having that knowledge, then you can know how to adjust properly. Adjust kama ni kamfuko kamekuwa casting, nasema casting economy kamekudunga sana. Kwa nini msuli kuna chafu wa nyama kila siku sita bidi reduce. Pia ukisupplement hiyo nyama na kitu kingine yenye cheaper than nyama unanipata. So and hivyo ndo mimi nawachanua, yani mkairada ni msizubaye. Nimenotice Conrad hayuko na mimi leo, tumesema ana celebrate Kiburi FC wins the weekend, lakini I bet kesho atakuwa in. So in conclusion, this is what we've said. Generally in the world right now, the World Food Prices Index are climbing, and they've been climbing since last year. For the past 1 year and something months, they have been climbing steadily and steadily and steadily. And you have said here in Kenya, they are yet to hit the peak. But since 2014, we have said that we have not recorded such an increase in food index prices since, imagine, since mid 2014. You might know, May 2014, we've not yani ni saa hii ndio tumerecord such a rise in food index prices and food prices in general. And so that means that Kenya is part of this world, so has been affected. And we're waiting to see the revision of the prices of fuel this week, I believe Friday. Tuone venye kutaenda na tutakuja hapa na updates tukiongelelea. But for you to be in the know, nimekuchanua kwamba food prices generally zimepanda. Anju zimepanda, sasa ni ujiadjust, ujipange vizuri kwa mfuko, balance ka diet pale. Yes. Yangu tu ni kukuchanua, yako ni wewe ujipange. Ama namna gani? Kwa sababu we care about you here at Africa Farmers. Now, even as we conclude the show, a parting shot is this. I'll encourage you to eat healthy. Eat healthy. Angalia mfuko pia ukiwa umeumia sana, once in a while kula nyama, furahia. Pia I'll encourage you to kama ukiona neighbor wako ameumia kidogo, support pale mokore. Kwa sababu hiyo ndio maisha. Ama namna gani? Make sure that you obey the 3 COVID-19 protocols, which is wearing your mask properly, sanitizing, and also sanitizing and washing your hands and keeping social distance. Very key, because you're fighting against a common enemy, who is the corona. The government is not fighting against us. We're not fighting against the government. So be keen on that. Be very keen on that. Another thing is the CES. The MOH, Ministry of Health, will deliver the COVID-19 updates in the next 1 hour or so. I believe the breaking news is that the KCC results are to be announced, or have been announced, I'm not wrong. Kwa hivyo tukae rada na tukae ngangari. Kitu cha mwisho ni mkumbuke, tushikane mikono, to live in peace, love na unity. Ama namna gani? Greetings from everyone here at Africa Farmers. Big up to my producer, Sarah Wanjiko. And have a nice time. Tutapatana kesho, Mungu akisema ndio. I'll see you. It's me, ZJ Timo, and this is a Farm Drive, where we tell the story of the African farmer. Thank you. God bless you.